enemy battles.
I think it's pretty hard to get damage though, right? I've heard a lot of the complaints in that game is like they're really easy.
Yeah. Well, okay, because it's not supposed to be. How I consider it is that it's not supposed to be like a normal, like, turn based battle. That's just an aspect of the battle system. It's supposed to be like a puzzle combat where there's one solution to the puzzle. And if you get it correct, which you will for the early game, like, till like halfway through, you can basically kill all the enemies in one go because you get that 1.5 times damage bonus.
Yeah, I
Boss
think I'm
battles
just
on the
kind of.
other boss battles on the other hand, I actually really like the boss battles.
Oh
People like
shit,
people
that's
complain about
surprising to
like
hear.
the elementals, and I can say like yeah, I can agree on some level. Like the elementals can feel a little bit bullshit. I don't think the earth elemental and the water elemental is okay. Thanks, Ricky. I don't think the earth elemental and water elemental are bad bosses. I think they're fine. And even the ice elemental, it has a few weird moments, but you can mostly manage it. The one elemental I absolutely despise is the fire elemental. The phoenix that like you saw in the trailer, or one of the trailers,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
overview trailer. Because its whole gimmick is that it spreads like fiery feathers all over the board, and you're basically guaranteed to take passive damage over time as you walk over to it to attack.
Which is
And
bullshit.
yeah,
I
it is
got you.
bullshit. And you had to like douse it with water, but like you also have to get the on switch and all that stuff.
How's things?
Um,
My big thing, and I think the reason why I saw the game and I was kind of turned off by it, I'm kind of sick of like Paper Mario being like, oh,
How's things?
he's Paper Mario, he's made of paper, so we have to have all this wacky, zany paper stuff going on. Like he's got to fight crayon or like colored pencils. Isn't that crazy and
from an
wacky?
outside
Like
perspective, the
I don't
stationary
know. I've gotten
bosses,
so
like the
sick of
office
it.
supplies, they look
Yeah.
completely stupid. I can understand why everybody would be
How's
turned
things?
off by seeing colored pencils.
I'm
But
just getting
once you
sick of like
actually
I
start
don't
fighting
know.
them, they're really fun.
Look.
Colored
I feel
pencils
like
isn't that amazing. It's nothing to write home about, and nor is the
I'm
rubber
just
band guy. Oh shoot, uh, Max's Max, you left. Huh? That was weird.
what happened?
I don't know. It said that it disconnected and
What the fuck?
weird.
Are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going. It was only a brief pause.
And we're back, baby.
Okay.
Oh, I
So
can't
what were you
see.
gonna say about the bosses?
Alright, I'm good.
Okay.
Something. But we're back. Dom, please continue with your statement.
Okay. So I was saying like I can understand why people would be turned off by the bosses. And to be honest, the game doesn't really do itself any favors by the first boss being colored pencils. But if you actually play the game for yourself, or like watch even like a let's play of it, like if you don't want to get the game, like the actual like office supply bosses, uh, they have a surprising amount of personality injected into them.
I did see the rubber band man, but I'm still kind of turned off by my whole issue is I'm kind of like the reason why I'm like is because Paper Mario in itself isn't just oh it's paper therefore he has to be paper. 'Cause that wasn't like the first three games aren't like that, and I know that games can change and shit like that. But it just the more I see it, the more lifeless it feels. Like oh haha, it's a stapler and he's stapling guys.
Hmm.
Just
I
kind of
think
like
that's
I've
more
gotten
like
like
a problem from a higher up like
yeah,
decision than the
I've just
dev
gotten
team
like sick
itself.
of the whole. I've gotten sick of the whole idea of like he's paper. Look, he's getting folded. And yeah, I thought the idea was cool at first, but when it's like, oh, paper mache, look, haha, it's silly, and this guy's all crumpled up.
I don't think
I
it's
don't know.
that bad. I don't think it's.
I just kind of got like sick of it. Like,
I mean, it's
I think
called
that's the
Paper
reason why.
Mario. Like, of course they're going to take the paper aspect to another degree if
I mean,
they continue the
they
series
didn't do
long
it
running.
nearly. My thing is like it seems like they just keep making it more haha paper because I don't think Color Splash was like that either.
What,
So it
paper?
was yeah, where it was just like haha Mario's paper. Look at all the crazy paper stuff. Like I know that there's like living objects in Color Splash, but not to the degree of Origami King.
Okay, huh.
Kind of like I don't know. I don't like that there's a living stapler and living colored pencils. I don't like the implication of that, first of all. But second of all, it's just kind of like, it's just so uninspired. Like, it's just boring to look at. And that sucks, man. Because my big problem, at least, is like, it's just, like, most of the characters look boring. Like, I like that they made Bowser Jr. and, like, Kamek, like, guys. I'm cool with that. Don't get me
Did
wrong.
you see,
But,
like, the interview statement the head director did?
yeah, that they can't make original characters.
They can't
But that's
modify, like, characters in the Mario universe. Like, they can add hats or, like, maybe, like, have different personalities, but they can't, like, modify them, which is...
that's so stupid.
I
Like,
think it is also completely stupid.
like, oh, it's so boring. Like, everything looks boring.
I think
That's
they
my
said that
problem.
they need to have all their like characters like kind of like all the Toads like gender neutral, and also like it can't be like they can't be old or like younger, like you
This
can't
is
they have
this
to be
is
the
coming
same
from
age and same gender, which
but
Toads
that's
don't really
boring.
have a
It
gender, to be
it
honest.
gets so boring to look at. Like, no, actually they do. You have Toadette. Like,
Well,
so
Toadette, like,
that's the same company that made Toadette. Like, in,
yeah,
Toadstool. Like, you made these characters. Use them. I it's so stupid. Like, we haven't seen.
I love the warping of the texture on Elvis's shirt, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just going off. I'm just peeved that they did this shit. 'Cause it's like it's not even fun to look at. Yeah, sure, like it's the out of combat. It looks cool. Like I like the paper mache, like the paper style. That should be the entire game. Because then it's just haha, look, it's Mario fighting colored pencils and he's paper and he's using cardboard to attack him. Isn't that funny? Ha ha ha. Because it gets annoying. And like I like the aesthetic. I think it would be great. I just wish that they would have sat down and went, okay, but let's make an interesting boss rather than or interesting characters rather than just haha, it's Paper Mario. Look at all this cool, crazy paper stuff. And it's just I don't know. As you can tell, I'm a little peeved off at
How
Origami.
much of the game have you actually seen?
I haven't seen the whole thing. Don't get me wrong, but I've been like watching Let's Plays of it, and the more I watch, the more I just can't get myself to watch more of. Cause it's like this is like even people like I like watching people like to do watching people do Let's Plays. Like I like the personalities. It's just hard to sit through. I just keep watching this game and I'm like I don't care. Like this entire game just feels like a big waste of time. You know.
If you want me to give like my thoughts overall on like the game progression, the game has really damn good high points, but to get to those high points, you do have to go through some or quite a bit of mediocrity, which isn't really new for the Paper Mario series, to be honest. TTYD had a ton of mediocrity in the overworld. Same with Super Paper Mario. Gameplay of Super Paper Mario wasn't that good.
But I'm just saying, like, it just feels. I'm just getting sick of like, oh, it's Mario, but he's paper now. Like that is boring. I feel like they need to flip the. They had the chance to, like flip Paper Mario on its head this time around. I really thought that they could have like made something really interesting. The more that came out about it, the more I was more and more skeptical. It's just sad, man. Like, because I like the idea of origami so much. It could have been really interesting.
Okay. The origami aspect in the game is kind of weak because it's only the enemies and some of like the bosses. But the finale of Origami King is so creative with the origami aspect, and it makes me wish that the rest of the game was like that.
See,
It's
that's
so
my issue.
cold.
I haven't even seen the end.
There are remnants of ancient
Don't get me wrong,
spirits
but
in
like,
here.
if they made
This
it
is no
just
ordinary
solely on
chill.
origami and they made it where it's
As I
like
explained
it's
before,
that
Dunban,
it's not
the
Paper
defense
Mario but
systems
in
are
paper,
designed
like
to prevent
when
uninvited...
origami is like
Well,
some
what
sort of
does this do?
zombification
Don't
or something, that would be interesting. Like,
Huh?
I think it would be like, I know that they change when their origamis are like folded or whatever, but I wish. Oh, rip my guy Riki.
Ryan literally just pressed the giant red button that says "Do not press."
Hell yeah. Anyway, point is, the reason why I'm like, they could have done stuff with origami a lot, but that's a lot more interesting. Like, I thought it would have been cool if they brought back Mr. L, but like he's like the anti-hero of the game, and he's like trying to stop the origami as well. And origami would be more of something like zombification rather than like, oh, they're just like evil now. You know, like it would have been interesting if they took kind of that route. But I don't know. Don't ask me. I think Luigi has no role in the game, and Bowser doesn't really have a role either. It's like, you could have done so much.
Well, Bowser does have a role in the game, just near the end. It's like
Okay.
chapter 5.
Just doesn't really do anything for the first few chapters, or at least to the point where I'm at. It's just kind of there. No.
Okay.
once
Okay.
again,
Speaking as somebody who's actually played through the game and played through all of the Paper Mario games, I have experience with both the old and the new.
that's fair.
And I will say Sticker Star is absolute shit. I do agree on that consensus.
I think everyone will agree with you there. That is not a good game. That is ass.
I think both old and new Paper Mario has its fair share of faults. It's just a matter of what do you like more? Do you like personality and like do you just love like charm, like brimming with charm like Color Splash where every time a character talks they're like cracking some kind of like really well written joke.
See, I'm okay with that. Honestly, I feel like if Origami King, it's a lot of mediocrity when it comes to the writing.
You're
I
getting
feel
quiet.
Like it's that. Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I was getting away from my mic. But like, I feel like they should have just sat down and they should have fixed the writing. 'Cause like, even if they, I feel like a big problem with the game.
Okay,
is
okay. Do you want
writing's
me to explain
wrong.
my theory on why Origami King isn't as well written as, say, Color Splash?
Hit me.
So, okay, nobody probably remembers this, but when Sticker Star first came out, it wasn't actually as badly received as people hate it now. Max?
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it's just I'm looking at the
I'm
sound
curious.
capture and it's like scaring me because I'm not getting
Oh
anything.
no, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. I'm just hearing you out.
So when like Nintendo's like made the Wii U shortly thereafter, like Sticker Star came out, and like they received so much like decent reviews from like say like IGN and other reviewers. And also keep in mind, Sticker Star sold the best out of all the Paper Mario games.
Ooh. and
They
then were like-
immediately got to work on Color Splash, and they're like, okay, so people liked Sticker Star. And, like, maybe like a year or two later, like, once they already established the gameplay formula for Color Splash, and, like, what it's going to be like, they're like, oh, shit, people don't actually like this battle system. But they're like, oh, we can't change it now because we're already too far into development and we don't want to delay this game for the Wii U.
on a dying console, honestly, that probably would have been best.
Well, no. Well, okay, whatever. But,
I don't know. Point is, continue. Change.
so what they did, I
change
believe, for
your,
Color Splash was that they had a mediocre game, but they received the feedback from the fans on Sticker Star kinda late. So they're like, okay, people aren't going to play this game and they're not going to enjoy the gameplay. But while we're here, let's just make this game as fun as possible with the presentation. And I think the writers had an absolute blast while writing that game. They just went on a field day and kept on going.
Oh wait, before you go any farther, change Melia's shirt because you just got a new top.
Yeah, it's just I noticed that there was like, oh no,
Oh,
I
there's, like,
I
a thing
explored
down
that part later. But
You might want to change your equipment because her equipment hasn't been switched at all yet.
yeah, do I have ether up?
Right.
Yeah, I have ether up.
Yeah, don't mean to cut you off. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
we should
that's
probably
fine.
Make sure she doesn't die.
So that's why Color Splash was so funny, like, most of the game. Like, even though I will say the gameplay of Color Splash is bad, the game has so much personality injected into it where, like, even, like, to the point where, like, you see a line of 50 toads and, like, the writers are self-aware, like, and one of the toads says, like, how can you tell me apart from all these other guys?
Yeah, no, I think that's the reason why I think Color Splash isn't absolutely horrible. It's not irredeemable. My problem with Origami King though is that it lost a lot of the charm that Color Splash established. Because like a lot of people are saying, I'm like, well, if the game's bad, it will have the same writing as Color Splash, hopefully.
But, do you want me to explain my theory further as to Origami King not being as well written? Or do you want to talk a little bit?
Wait. I'm just curious what the fuck is happening.
Yeah. We'll give this conversation a small break.
Yeah. One second. Grandpa's showing up? I don't get this. Is this Bionis? Who is this?
The results of the gene analysis show Holmes gene integration of 80%. Estimates suggest evolution within 8 generations. Our wishes are almost fulfilled.
I'm confused. What
She's
the fuck
not
is going on?
100% high Entia like the other people. She is 80% Homs, or I guess half Homs if you put it in like generic categorization.
Wait, it's a curse to be Wait, what the fuck is she setting free? I'm confused. Yeah, same here, Melia.
This will come in much later. You will forget about it, and then you will realize, oh, that's what this was about.
It is you who will rule the High Entia, and likely be their last.
What? Whoa.
Go forth and rule.
Dude, ancient technology is cool as heck. I wanted to play what was that one called? It was that one RPG game that we were talking about. Oh.
Explain yourself. Only Imperials are permitted to enter this place.
Shit.
I am the subject of Her Highness the First Consort. I need no permission.
Fuck.
Subject. No impure child of the second.
Her mom wants her dead.
To refer to the first consort as mother. A filthy
What the fuck?
half-breed has no right to the throne.
Okay, thanks, bird. Bird people, bird people. Bird people.
Who puts a great big hole somewhere like that?
Who just pushes a big red button
As
that
I explained,
nobody tells you to press?
Button.
what a mess, Ryan.
Sean, don't piss on him. Or not
I'm with
clever.
these guys, Ryan.
This is good.
How was I supposed to know that was going to happen? What
Just
about
don't
your vision,
Thanks, Ryan.
Shay? You think the two of you could come up with something?
You know it doesn't work like that.
It would have been useful, yes.
Pair of fortune-telling frauds. You got into this mess.
Thanks, Ryan.
It's not the first time either.
Ricky, agree with Shulk.
Why is it my fault all of a sudden?
This time it is your fault.
Precisely. Well,
Well,
Be thankful
I'm the
that we're all
tank.
alive. I suggest greater care next time. Our journey will be longer, but we can still make our way deeper into the tomb.
Okay. We can't waste another second.
So
Melia needs us.
When you get to this part of the game, you want to explore this place pretty thoroughly because there's one really good piece of equipment for Melia, and you may be able to like miss it for a while.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna show it to me now because you're gonna grab it yourself.
Well, no, I don't know. It's
Are you
gonna
gonna-
take
are we
a little
gonna s-
while.
I mean, fair enough.
Oh. Okay. So, where was I?
I don't remember.
Talking
There's
about
a lot of cutscenes in between.
I finished talking about why I think Color Splash was the way it is.
Yeah.
Right, Origami King. So, if you don't, like, Color Splash was the last Wii U exclusive. That, like, the last AAA Wii U exclusive that came out on the console. It came out in, like, October of 2016. The next big AAA release that released on the Wii U was Breath of the Wild, which is on Switch. So that doesn't really count. Okay.
Okay. Still listening. Don't mind me.
So, once, like, shortly after Color Splash released, the devs released an interview, or, like, they released, like, an interview where they said, like, they felt like with Color Splash, they exhausted the system that they established in Sticker Star, the battle formula, and they said that the next Paper Mario game will try something different. Like, when people were surprised by the battle system, like, this was foreshadowed by the devs, like, for years.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. But,
You died.
Color Splash literally came out a couple weeks ago, like, mid-2020. And Color Splash came out at the end of 2016. They've only had about 3.5 years between Color Splash and Origami King. Which,
Yeah,
that's kind of a short development time.
I honestly think that's way too short of a development time to make a game like
But
that.
I think they also started working on Origami King, like, maybe, like, late into Color Splash's development. Because I think, like, the devs were, like, probably just, like, doing concepts like, ooh, what if we do this for the battle system, or that? Like, but I still think the development time for Origami King was probably pretty short for what it was. And,
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, since with Color Splash, they already had an established formula that they couldn't change. That's why the writers basically said, fuck it, let's make the presentation really good. They couldn't really do that with Origami King because, one, more effort is going to go into the gameplay. Two, the Switch is a very successful console. I think by the end of the Wii U era, the devs kind of just had, like, a fuck it moment where they're like, we don't care what people think of this game.
Yeah, probably.
Because it was
I
on a
just really
failing
wish-
console anyway, and they were appealing to a very small fan base within a very small group of people.
See, I'm a little bummed because like, I like games that have potential. I thought that Origami King had potential. But now it
Origami
just
King
feels
does
like
have
it's gonna
potential.
be.
It does.
I'm just saying it feels like people are just gonna forget about it at the next release, you know? Like, I heard some people talking about it, and now I feel like it's already kind of fallen by the wayside. At least a little bit, you know? And that's a little scary, like, for a game. That stinks. I'd rather have a game that tries, like, it tried, and I think that's the interesting part. And honestly, I wish that they would have tweaked a few things, maybe delayed release, rather than sending it out as it is now. Like,
Oh,
there is
right.
no,
The devs
there is
also
no
probably
reason-
had to work from home for, like, the last, like,
yeah,
9 months.
they probably had to work I wish that they would have maybe like waited a little while longer, you know, 'cause it kind of felt like the game was like, oh yeah, here is Paper Mario, bye.
It did
Like,
feel a little bit rushed. Yeah, I'll give
Yeah,
you
it did
that.
feel like they kind of tossed it, and I feel like if they had more time to develop the system and make it so the game was a bit more interesting with its writing and whatnot, I think it would be a really good game. I think my other issue with the game is, like, you don't have to fight. Fighting is kind of useless, and I'm not saying that the battle system is bad. I'm saying that the battle system is pointless because there is no incentive to fight. It's okay, sweet.
I mean, yes, you only get coins and confetti at the end of battles, but I did find that there were a couple moments where I actually needed to fight to either get confetti or, like, I just literally got broke. Like, the economy looks inflated in
Yeah,
Origami
I was gonna
King.
say, is
it
the
is.
economy inflated?
It is, but
Oh,
when you have trouble in puzzles later on in the game, and trust me, you will, chapter, like, 5 and 4 and, like, the finale, they have really difficult puzzles. You will spend up a ton of your coins buying time and also cheering the toads.
what?
You can
Wait.
spend a maximum of 999 coins per cheer, or, like, time increase, I think.
How many chapters are there in the game?
Like, separate areas, like,
No,
5,
like chapters.
but, like, I say chapters because, like, they're kind of separated into chapters. But,
So Bowser's only useful until the last one?
there's
The last
5
area?
chapters, but I kind of say, like, there's, like, 5 and a half, in a sense, because the finale I kind of count as its own chapter, albeit a bit short.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that the game feels really rushed. It just, I'd rather have a game, like, I like that they experimented, but I'd rather have a game that maybe was delayed. That whole Shigeru Miyamoto quote, like, what is it, like a rushed game can never be completed, but a good game, is like a turtle or some shit. I don't know. He said something, he said, like, some really, really, key shit, though, like, hey, it's better to sit down and actually work on a rushed game rather than, you know, fucking, like, sending it out just the way it is. And maybe they made more money that way? I don't know. It just was weird that they announced it and then released it, like, the same... Was it the same month, or was it a month away?
What, announced Origami King and
Yeah.
released? They announced Origami King 3 months before it came out.
3 months?
2-3
Oh,
months,
shit.
something like that.
Okay. I don't know. It just felt rushed, and I felt like, you know how they usually milk shit like this, where they're like, oh yeah, we're coming out with a new Mario, but it's gonna take, like, maybe another year. And people are like, new Mario, let's go. But nowadays, it's like, here's the game, bye. And that was a weird move on Nintendo, so I think that they weren't expecting much to happen.
Well, I mean, they kind of did that because of the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah.
They probably would have announced it in a Nintendo Direct otherwise.
You know what I am interested about? You know what I really hope happens? A
What?
35th anniversary collection of Mario. And they, like, actually remake Sunshine and Galaxy. Although that's a lot to hope on.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I really want it to happen. They made one
I
for the
want it to
25th.
happen, but I don't think it's going to happen this year anyway.
It would be real nice. It would be like, oh, hell yeah.
I don't think Nintendo has any real third-party or not AAA like first-party releases for the rest of the year because delays.
Yeah, that Nintendo Direct Mini was pretty funny though.
The
lot of
Nintendo
people-
Direct Mini was like, yeah, there's not going to be any more Directs for the rest of the year.
There was. Wait, are you serious? Did they say that?
I think they said something to that nature.
Ooh, that sucks. Like, hear me out. Because, like, a lot of people are waiting. We have nothing on Breath of the Wild 2. We got no shit on, like, any of the other, like, games that Nintendo hyped up. And then they were like, we're gonna show you WWE SmackDown and Shin Megami Tensei, which I liked, but not everyone does. So it's like, okay, that's a fat rip. But hey, I'm fine with the Shin Megami Tensei shit. I wanted to try those games out anyway.
I'm kind of curious about that game, but I also know they're brutally difficult, so I'm scared.
Yeah. Same here.
I mean, I've already had trouble with like Persona 4
I'd
and
still
like leveling up.
I'd probably try it. Like, I wouldn't just sit down and be like, eh. Let's see what happens, you know? You never know. It's just dumb that, we got a bunch of garbage that no one really cared about, and then Shin Megami Tensei, and they said, okay, that's it. I understood that it was all third-party shit. Like, I wasn't one of those people that were like, it's F-Zero, it's F-Zero, F-Zero's gonna be in! I was more like, okay, it's probably gonna be like a couple releases, and hopefully they're pretty good. And they were weak as shit. And then the fucking Bakugan Treehouse Live was also not really good. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think Nintendo blew like their last big release with Paper Mario.
They really fucked up. I feel like they really fucked up their E3. Like, it was... I understand it was like all online, but like, I'm pretty sure Sony had like an actual really good one. Like,
well,
Sony
E3 didn't happen this year.
Well, no, but instead of E3, we got a lot of like releases around this time.
I think Nintendo
you know?
is just keeping their cards close to their hand because they don't want to like announce games and then have them be delayed for like a year.
Yeah, but they did that with Breath of the Wild too, which is why I'm kind of like.
No, Breath of the Wild? Like, you mean original, not 2?
No, they did that with Breath of the Wild too. They announced Breath of the Wild 2 like a year ago, and that we know nothing about it.
Well, yeah, it's still I think it's still, like, mid-development.
Yeah, but I'd still like to know, like, an announcement, like, hey, we're still working on this shit.
Look, I'm not worried about Breath of the Wild 2 at the moment, because, honestly, there's a lot of games that, like, are on my bucket list that I need to get to anyway. And, like, while I am excited for Breath of the Wild 2, I also know that making a game like that takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally fine with them taking their time. I just like
they got overconfident with the Breath of the Wild 1, and then, like, they were like, no, let's delay it by 4 years. Or something
Honestly,
like that.
not, and that turned out to be one of my favorite games ever. So I'm cool.
And I loved it at first, but then I realized, Breath of the Wild isn't that amazing.
Look, it's got a shit ton of flaws, but the way they flipped Zelda on its head was revolutionary. Like, you can't deny that. It is some of the craziest shit.
I'll admit it was
ever.
impactful, but I don't think it's going to be, like, a second Ocarina of Time.
No, I think it is the second Ocarina of Time. I think the only issues, there's a lot of issues with the game, but I really think, like, if they really hone in on the second one and they fix a lot of those issues, I really think it could be the best Zelda game, period.
Yeah, but, like, you know, they gotta fix the dungeons, and...
Yeah, no, here's what they gotta
fix.
The
overworld is boring to explore after you've seen it all.
Oh, yeah. No,
like,
here's
also, like, half the shrines are completely stupid. Oh, there's, like, 30 combat shrines, 20 blessing shrines, and then there's, like, 60 puzzles? Like...
Okay, hear me out. Because here's what I know they gotta fix. More enemies. More enemy types. Please, Jesus Christ, give us anything. I just want more enemy types. Like, they got the same 4 enemies get a little annoying. So hopefully they fix that. And I'm pretty sure they will, because that's a big issue. Dungeons, I agree with you. The Guardians are ass. They're really annoying. And they don't change, and they're kind of boring. But the beginning, like, the way you see them is still pretty sick. Like, I really enjoyed, like, seeing them from a distance and seeing all the shit that they're doing from far away, because that was cool. I think that they just need to make dungeons more interesting. Maybe they have to get ideas from shrines. I feel like they need less shrines. I understand that the overworld, they needed a lot of shrines, so the overworld can just bump into a lot of shrines. But the improvement I think they need to do with shrines is have fewer of them and have a smaller overworld, but make that overworld have a lot more shit in it. And honestly,
I think they said that they
I
were
think
going
they
to
can do that.
reuse the overworld from Breath of the Wild in the second game.
that's not a bad idea. I feel like they can add more to the overworld then, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
So I honestly think with those improvements, that would make the game substantially better. Like, I think they're gonna change the fucking shit. I feel like they will, because that was a big issue. Like, a lot of people didn't like the Divine Beasts, and a lot of people didn't like the small amount of enemy types. I feel like those things are gonna be improved on a lot. Also, Ganondorf is coming back, and that's cool as shit. So I'm very curious as to what's gonna happen. And I don't even know what they have up their sleeve. And that's the interesting part. That's the reason why I want to know more, you know? They're so quiet about it.
Oh, sorry, I'm focusing on the boss.
Oh, damn.
Because
Dumb.
everybody is
Literally-
low health, and, like, the boss is also low health, and, like, fuck,
I
it's
just
a little bit
ranted.
close.
I just fucking ranted for like 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Well, only a few
You-
minutes. The
you
boss wasn't
poophead.
that
We're
long.
not wanted. Are we ever gonna find her?
I think
Anyway,
you'll find
point
we
is,
had to take the long way because somebody pushed a certain
fix the
button.
Divine Beasts, fix enemy types, fewer shrines, more detailed overworld, bam, instantly better game.
Relax.
Yeah, but, like, Breath of the Wild has more, like,
This route will lead us to the
built-in
ritual altar,
inherent
but
flaws
time is of the essence.
that other games didn't have.
We've got to hurry.
Puzzle solving
do you
in
mean
Breath
by
of the Wild is not, like, satisfying whatsoever.
I think it's satisfying. I think it's fun.
It's
Honestly,
not.
the shrines.
Because in the other
Well,
games...
You can't. Okay, that's subjective though.
Well, yeah,
That's
I
not
okay.
objective.
It's just my way of
not-
saying, let
you're
me
saying it's
explain
not,
my
like-
points. Let me explain my points.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
In the other Zelda games, like Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, like all the like linear Zelda games, there was a natural progression system. Like you would go to a dungeon, you would get an item mid like through the dungeon, and then basically you would basically get to increase your arsenal over time. There's a progression. Like, it feels like you're gaining more abilities over time. Breath of the Wild doesn't have that same system. The only thing you get in Breath of the Wild is magnetism, stasis, the bombs, and, like, the ice ability. And that's all you get for the rest of the game.
Okay. I disagree with you. I think that they give you the tools. They give you the tools and they say, go fucking have fun with them and experiment. And I personally, my issue with linear Legend of Zelda games, and you might not agree with this, I've played a shit ton of them. Like, I think the only ones I haven't played are like Twilight Princess. I think it's Twilight Princess and like Phantom Hourglass.
Man, Twilight Princess is one of the best ones.
But my argument here is linear Zelda games are like, oh, I got this item in a dungeon. I use it in the dungeon. I never use it again. I get this item in the dungeon. I use it in the dungeon. I never use it again. Like
That
is
depends on which one you're playing, though.
yeah, but you gotta admit that's for the most part you will get an item and you'll never use it again. Like the reason Link to the Past everyone likes that is because you can get something early on. It's super useful in a later dungeon. Like you can just it's a whole bunch of like you have an arsenal that you use in Link to the Past. And Breath of the Wild, I feel like it's the same way, where you start out with this arsenal, and they go, okay, you figure out what the fuck to do with it. And have you seen the crazy shit people do? People do crazy shit with like stasis, with fucking bombs. Like it's just like they give you an arsenal and they say go do shit, and I like that a lot. I think that's really interesting.
But I
think
feel
the
like
only one
half
that I
of the
think-
things that you can do with stasis and like magnetism are completely unintentional in a sense. It's
Yeah,
not
but
really
that's what makes it-
messing with
Look.
it's messing with the like abilities you have, but it's messing with them in like a completely like
Physics. Okay.
you're messing with the
Right.
physics engine of the game, which is completely new to a Zelda game because Zelda games didn't really have physics engines before.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Speedrunning did that a lot, but hear me out. I think that I honestly think that it's more interesting with a physics engine that has jank. because I've talked about this before. I think there's good jank and there's bad jank. Good jank is like jank that is really satisfying to pull off. Like, have you seen the people that do stasis hopping? It's interesting. It's really cool. And doing it yourself is awesome. Like, I've stasis jumped. It's awesome. It's really fun. And shit like that is really fun. Like, Super Mario 64. That system is janky as shit, but people love it. Because even though it's janky, it's so satisfying to pull off some of those moves. Like backwards long jumping, people love that shit. It's obviously not intentional, but people love that shit. And it's got a lot of good jank to it.
Why did I go back
And
to where I was?
I think that's the reason why Breath of the Wild is also pretty good. It's got that good jank. That's my argument there.
Okay.
I don't think you were like, yeah. Because you can say, oh yeah, it's janky, but I know a lot of good games that are like, janky is absolute shit, but that's what makes them fun. Like speedrunning those games, or like speedrunning games use jank to their advantage. Ocarina of Time, janky as shit. Yeah, you can agree with me there, right?
Yeah, but I don't really like Ocarina of Time myself, so,
Yeah, but the reason why it's so popular is because that jank can make speedruns really fun. And that's why when Breath of the Wild came out, speedrunning was huge with that, because the jank was fun.
where am I supposed to go?
There we go. Straight up facts. That's all I gotta... Well, I guess it's subjective, but you get my gist. It's that one with the... Wait, turn around. Flip again. Buddy, I see it. It's that... Wait. Go back. I see it. It's right in front of you. Spin around. Spin around again. Like, nope. Behind Shulk. Keep going. That one with the item on it, that's where you need to go.
Yeah.
Used to be. But
The
yeah,
yellow brick road betrayed me.
yes. I know you probably don't agree with me, but I do think that Breath of the Wild is my favorite game just because it is, like, it is so revolutionary for its genre that it does deserve some credit. I do think it is the new Ocarina of Time. And that if they implement the system, I hope they make it better and better and better. Because Ocarina of Time, you can agree, is pretty bad nowadays.
Yeah.
Back then it was amazing.
Well,
It was,
even
like,
back
edgy.
then, like, when I first, like, saw my brothers, like, playing the game, I was like, it doesn't look that... Like,
Yeah.
whenever I tried it for myself, I always got stuck on, like, some kind of super obscure, like, kind of, like...
But, like, 1996 shit. Like, we're talking, like, 1996 Zelda. This is, like, first Zelda in 3D. And then they went back to Majora's Mask, and people love Majora's Mask. You can agree with me there.
Well,
That's incredible.
a lot of people either love or hate Majora's Mask. It's like one of the more divisive Zelda games, but like the majority of people that, or well, like people that love Majora's Mask really love it.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I can agree with you there. I feel like Majora's Mask is one that's pretty universally loved in the series. Like, I don't think I've ever heard someone that goes, I kind of hate this game.
Really?
So,
I have a lot. Like, back in, like, mid-2000s, anyway.
Oh, no, like, nowadays, with like, the re-release and shit, a lot of people are like, damn, this is a good-ass game. Even I admit it. Like, I used to meme on my friend who loves that game to death. Like, I used to go, that game probably not as good as Ocarina of Time. And he'd be like, bro, it's way better. And I played it, and yeah, I'd probably agree. It's way better than Ocarina of Time.
I mean, I also like Majora's Mask, but, like...
Majora's Mask is just interesting. That's the reason why I hope they... With the new Zelda, they make it more.
It's interesting, but whenever I try to replay Majora's Mask, I just can't do it. Like, I don't think the gameplay of Majora's Mask is super fun. It just plays with an interesting concept, and it has really interesting, like, darker tones and, like, story that you wouldn't find in another Zelda game. That's the reason why people love Majora's Mask. Whenever people talk about Majora's Mask, they talk about, like, why they love the story and, like, all the NPCs and interacting with them, a la, like, Groundhog's Tale. People don't talk about going to, the Pirate Fortress and, like, collecting all the Zora eggs.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think that the mask concept is one of the most creative and interesting things Zelda's done.
The transformation masks, yes. All the other masks, they're all pretty much
Well,
useless.
They're used for like side quests and shit. And that's about it.
Very circumstantially.
Some of them do have other uses, but yeah, like most of the time, yeah, some of them are just kind of useless. I just would disagree at some points when you're like, the
Okay,
gameplay
this is
super
the
good.
item that you want. This is the area that you want to go to at all costs. in
Summon
this.
Bolt.
That's levels up Summon Bolt all the way to 10, or it allows you to unlock and like level up Summon Bolt to 10 for Melia. Keep
Oh,
in
shit.
mind that has a ridiculous recharge time right now. It'll be even more ridiculous.
Oh, that's great.
And Ruby glasses. If you go into equipment and check out, whatever. Let's fight this guy.
All right. Anyway, point is, Majora's Mask is a really good game, and like you can say that it's not super fun, but I disagree with you there. I think it's really good.
No, I like Majora's Mask. Don't get me wrong. I like the game. I just don't like the gameplay itself.
What do you mean by gameplay itself?
Like, actually going into, like, Termina and, like, getting, like, into the dungeons and, like, playing the game itself. Like, it's not that great, to be honest.
Okay, I would argue the other way around. Like, I think that for the most part, it has some really good gameplay, at least some really good moments, like you said, with Paper Mario. Really, really high highs, but really, really low lows. Like when we're talking like, let's talk about like Zora's Domain or like the Zora boss or whatever. Like that fish sucks. I hate that fish. Fuck that fish. Took way too long. Boring as shit. But then you go up to the mountains as the Goron, and that boss is badass. Like literally one of the most fun bosses in Zelda, period. And even the swamp, I really like just the aesthetic of the swamp. I like the gameplay of the swamp. Finding the berries is a pretty good time. It can be a little annoying every now and then, but like I really enjoy it. Hell, even finding Tingle for like a piece of the map, like that, it's just interesting. And along with the time aspect, it really makes you have to sit down and be like, okay, gotta figure out what the fuck's going on.
The time aspect is cool on paper, and it definitely works for, like, those really good side quests. But, like, otherwise, it's just micromanaging and, like, figuring out, okay, I need to go here for this, and here for this, and here for this. And, like, most of the time, you don't even really know, like, what you're supposed to do to trigger certain side quests until you talk to that one NPC.
Yeah,
Which...
but I still say that the time aspect is well needed for that game. Because if it didn't have time, it wouldn't be nearly as good as,
Well, yeah, the time aspect works for when it does work. I'm not saying get rid of the time. I'm just saying... I don't know what I'm saying, but, like...
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to micromanage it. It's not supposed to be like, oh, haha, you have all the time in the world. Like, no, it's telling you, hey, you have 3 days or you're fucked.
No, but, like...
I like that. Hell,
some
even the time
side
travel
quests
is like-
last for more than 1 day, or you have to be at a certain place at a certain time, like, very specifically plan it out. And once you mess that up, you can't, like, fix it unless you redo the whole side quest.
They fixed this a bit in 3DS, though.
I
where you
played the
can speed up and
3DS
slow down
version.
time.
I
Yeah,
played
you
the
can speed up and slow down
3DS
time.
version.
You can speed up or slow down time, and I understand that if you fuck up, like, on a day 3 thing, it sucks to go back to day 1. But there's other shit to do. There's other side quests. Like, I honestly think, like, it's not super horribly tedious. Days go by pretty fast. Especially when you want them to. Yeah. I don't think it's the time aspect is absolutely horrid. It's annoying. At some point. I don't think it's, like, absolutely horrible and not needed. But I'm not trying to straw man you. I'm just saying, like, you just seem to be more annoyed with the time aspect than I. So, I don't know. I think that game is really good.
I also think actually getting to the dungeons in all the areas is really frustrating. The dungeons themselves, fine, whatever. Like, you can complain about Great Bay Temple, which I actually kind of like. Or, like, the other temples.
Tom, you're a masochist. You're out here.
Look, I 100%ed Super Meat Boy, and I'm Let's Playing Celeste and doing Chapter 9.
You're a sadist, my guy. You're sitting here like, I really like Great Bay Temple, and that is a really shitty.
No, I
dungeon.
like the concept of Great Bay Temple, and
Well,
like,
no, I like the concept.
I
too,
don't
get me
think it's
wrong.
as confusing as people make it out to be. You just have to follow the flow of the water and the pipes.
That boss is fucking obnoxious.
That boss
though.
sucks.
We-
It's
Yeah,
it's
that boss
fucking
sucks
dicks,
dick.
especially in the 3DS
Alright,
version.
Thank God. Thank God. At least you agree with me, because that boss does suck dick. Like, no, I think anyone can agree with us there. Like, that boss is shit.
And like,
Even
I
more
think Stone Tower Temple, one of the best Zelda dungeons, like conceptually.
Yeah, period. It's so good.
And the
Like, Stone
music
Tower
is
Temple
good.
Amazing.
Okay, the music in Majora's Mask actually like really good.
It slaps. Like, yeah, like, oh my god. That's the reason why I'm like, I don't think a lot of people hate Majora's Mask. I really think that it's one of the most loved Zelda games.
I don't hate Majora's Mask. I love the atmosphere and like what it's trying to do. I appreciate it, and I love like what it does conceptually, story-wise, and like I think the gameplay can be fun in the dungeons or like when you're just roaming around the field. But actually like triggering like story events and like getting from one place to another, like some of that stuff can be really frustrating. All the intermissions between the dungeons, not fun. Not fun whatsoever. Like, it just has a ton of really, like, you did that moments. Like, say, climbing the giant ladder to get to Daruk's grave. Or, like I mentioned before, the Pirate Fortress. And you only have limited bottles at that point, probably only 3 or 4. You're like, I had to traverse back and forth between the Pirate Fortress this many times.
I wouldn't say that those are the best. Like, I really do think that Pirate Fortress is ass, too. Don't get me wrong, that is pretty ass.
I think the whole stealth section with the Dekus is kind of...
That was fun. I like that. I will argue against
It's
that. I think that
really
was
kind of finicky at some points.
I still like it. I still like it. I think
The 3DS version fixed it, but like looking back on the N64 version, which a lot of people prefer, it's ugh.
kind. I mean, I still think it's really fun. I played the so like, maybe I'm just spoiled.
And also like getting to the dungeon in Iconic Canyon. At first it seems fine, like, oh hey, like we're just going to the dungeon, but like
I'd argue that too. I also think that's pretty good. I don't think it's horrible.
well, okay, the whole underground maze, I kind of hate that part.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so the reason why Ruby Glass is so good. Ether up 5.
Oh shit. Holy fuck.
You put
That
that
is
on Melia right away,
crazy
the
for
moment you
Melia.
can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting close to the time limit here.
Yeah, we've just kind of been ranting.
That's true. This is a little rant session for us, I guess.
Well, it's better than just kind of staring blankly at the screen and being like, oh, this is happening.
To be fair, the climbing did remind me a lot of Optimus, so... Yeah, and it is a game that that is pretty near and dear to my heart, at least the series. Thank you, Dunban.
I like Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorite Zelda games, but like, all the other Zelda games, I have trouble replaying them. Just saying. And like Majora's Mask, I especially have trouble replaying sometimes.
I have a soft spot for a few Zelda games, like Spirit Tracks. I know that game isn't perfect. I just
Spirit
really like
Tracks,
Spirit Tracks.
I liked when I played it, but I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, that's the one problem with Spirit Tracks. I have a soft spot. I think it's for what it did was pretty funny, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed.
I have a
whole
soft spot
game.
for Phantom Hourglass because it was like the first Zelda game I played. Even though I grew up with like watching my brothers and sisters play Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
Majora's Mask terrified me because of the moon. Like
Yeah,
4-year-old
that's fair.
me. And then like whenever they played Ocarina of Time, I associated Ocarina of Time with Majora's Mask.
Oh shit. Well,
So-
they are made on the same engine.
Yeah.
Like I started with Ocarina of Time. We did not own Majora's Mask. I have like one of the original cartridges for Ocarina of Time too. It's pretty crazy. The gray cart. It's nuts.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. I have like, some of like one of the first copies.
Uh,
Like, it's really-
I had like the holographic artwork version of Majora's Mask.
Oh shit! Yeah, that one's cool as shit.
Thing is, I don't know if I already explained this, but like, my N64 is just like gone. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows where all the cartridges are.
That fucking sucks.
So like all of those games, like I have, like my brother's like collected like 50 like N64 games, like a big chunk of the library over time. Like they were missing a few classics like Banjo-Kazooie and like GoldenEye, but like overall like they had like DK64, the first collectathon I played, and I have a soft spot for that game even though it's really bad.
Yeah, that game is really ass. I'm gonna be straight with you.
Well, okay. It would be much better if they literally fixed the character swapping, but
Yeah, but it's. I would still argue that it's not.
it's not amazing.
It's not super great, but like.
But the
I
music in
understand having a soft spot.
DK64, I forgot how good it was.
Yeah, no, music slaps.
Uh,
I ain't dissing the music.
Grant Kirkhope, fucking genius when it comes to music.
Oh my god, he's
Like
so
the way
good.
he's
I feel-
able to use the same motifs like throughout a song, and like have it convey completely different moods depending on whether you're fighting a boss or like whether you're in some kind of tense moment or racing a turtle that's super fast.
I really feel like Grant Kirkhope is the best when it comes to like very bright atmosphere stuff. Like, oh my god, like he can just grab like anything. Like, oh yeah, this is our plains level. This is our like hill level. And he's like,
The
oh,
only
I got
score
Scarlet
from
Lake."
Grant Kirkhope I feel a tiny bit disappointed in is Mario plus Rabbids, but that's because it's just slightly less memorable because of the nature of the game.
Mario plus Rabbids. God, I forgot that game existed. Jesus Christ, that inspired something like. Oh wait, no, you can wait. Go back to Riki real quick. You can upgrade
Yeah.
his staff. What's the love biter? Isn't that better?
No.
Huh.
I don't
Wow,
think
that's
I want to lose
No,
all
that shit
that
is too good.
with only one ability
Ain't
slot.
worth it. Should we wrap it up here? We're at a pretty good spot at the moment.
We can stop right before we get to the boss,
Sweet.
because I think we're coming up on a boss pretty soon.
I was gonna say, yeah. I'm sure we're gonna talk afterwards, so I'm just making sure.
Yeah. But while we're talking about like games like either like being bad or underrated or having like really good aspects but really bad parts, I want to loop back to Paper Mario just for a sec.
Oh my god.
Just for a sec. No matter what you say about the game, do yourself a favor and listen to the OST.
Oh, dude. Like, I'm not.
All the
once again,
boss themes
I ain't
are
listening to music.
really damn good. Quick spoiler about some of the bosses. Chapter 5 boss, it's a pair of scissors from Sticker Star. The first thing card you use in Sticker Star, and you use it to kill Bowser Jr. One,
Holy shit.
they actually have a running like joke, or they use like a returning joke in that chapter where Bowser Jr. is in it. He flies towards the castle where the streamer is. Then the scissors just chops him up midair like Sticker Star.
Holy shit.
And I
Bowser
actually
Jr.
laughed out
fucking-
loud during that part. Because I'm like,
fucking dies?
that's fucking karma, bitch.
Holy fuck, dude.
but-
He fucking dies.
The boss theme for like the scissors and like the third chapter boss theme, really damn good. It's literally just... Do you mind if I spoil the third chapter boss?
Nah, I don't care too much.
It's a
Hit me.
hole puncher that is a music critique and wants to like disco, like dance, like bring back the 80s. One, I don't know why Intelligent Systems is really good at making disco themes, but they are.
Huh.
But the third
Okay.
boss theme takes place in the desert, or third boss. So the boss theme for that is a combination of disco and like the minor chords you would see in like Arabian / like Egyptian music, plus like K-pop a little bit, but yet it somehow works.
Okay. Okay.
Fourth
Wait.
boss is just literally a tape that's like with a Brooklyn accent that actually like tapes together the board and like limits the amount of movement you have when rotating.
Okay.
Scissors is the most I've never been so intimidated by a pair of scissors before.
Wait, is this the boss part?
We're catching up to it, but yeah.
Okay.
Let me
Just be
finish this up
careful.
real quick. The Scissors
Sounds
boss
good.
fight, one, they bring out the fucking electric guitars for the Scissors boss theme.
I'd also say that scissors are like deadly in the Paper Mario universe. I mean, like you're just beheading at someone if you just chop their head off with scissors.
Oh yeah, it's fucking really like grotesque if you think about it, like what the Scissors does in
Yeah,
that chapter.
Bowser Jr. got fucking murdered.
But the Scissors is an overconfident, like, warrior type. And
Oh my
at the
god.
start of the boss battle, it's like, okay, I'll toy with you a little bit, but I'll handicap myself. And then it puts on a safety cover.
Oh my god.
Hilarious.
So
I
stupid.
accidentally broke the safety cover second turn.
And then I
It
got
does
pissed.
instant kills attacks every turn from there on. And instead of blocking, you have to dodge it, a la Mario and Luigi.
Oh
It's
damn.
stressful. I beat the boss like that. But like, after a while, the Scissors starts faking you out with the timing.
Damn. It's
Look.
insta kill. That's the craziest shit.
Look, if you're bored of like Origami King right now, like watching it, just give it some time. It'll get better.
Hopefully.
Because what I described were some of the like more interesting high moments.
Okay.
It has really good high moments. That's why I like the game. Otherwise, it's just it's there. Like the dialogue is kind of charming, not as good as Color Splash, and like the gameplay is better, but not as good as like original or TTYD. So it's a jack of all trades, but it doesn't really please anybody.
Ooh. Okay. That worries me a little bit, but okay. I don't know if I'll get it. I just got Xenoblade, so I
Yeah.
have a game. I have a
Okay.
game I need to beat anyway.
Yeah, okay. I'm done ranting about Paper Mario, and
No, you're good. You're good.
yeah, let's call it here. So,
All right. Would you like to lead us out, or would you like me to?
I don't have an outro planned out.
I got an outro. Let's do it. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. How'd we do? It's pretty good, pretty bad. That's kind of up to you, my guy. Also, hit that bell icon if you subscribe, so you can watch more videos. We'd really appreciate it. We're still starting up. Feedback would be very nice in the comments. And yeah, Dom, lead us
So-
out, my guy.
Next episode, we will see what has happened to Melia in the next room over. We'll probably fight a boss. Probably,
Yeah.
most likely, guaranteed, basically. But, you'll have to wait for next episode to see that one. So, without further ado, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
See ya.
See ya.